This video is going to explain how to use comparatives and superlatives in English. Please have a pen or pencil and some paper to take some notes. When we do comparatives, we are talking about two different things and showing how they are different. Normally we use ER on the end of the adjective or adverb to show this, but we can also use more or less. Let me give you some examples. The train is faster than the bus. So here we are talking about a train and a bus, and which one is fast? Well, the train is faster than the bus. Kate has always worked harder than I do. This new doctor seems a lot friendlier than my last one. Bob usually eats more quickly than his sister. I think that biology is more interesting. The new rules are less confusing. Now let's look at each of these rules and how to use it. First, ER. We use ER with one or two syllable adjectives and adverbs. So for example, fast is one syllable, so we simply add ER to make it a comparative. The train is faster than the bus. Happy is two syllables, so we can add ER, happier. Hard is one syllable, it becomes harder. Friendly becomes friendlier. If we have adjectives and adverbs with more than two syllables, then we should not use ER, we should use more or less. I think that biology is more interesting. Interesting is three syllables. We do not say interesting-er. We would say more interesting or less interesting. The new rules are less confusing. Confusing is three syllables. Same thing with difficult and easily. There are some exceptions to this. For example, if we want to say bad or badly, we do not say badder or badlier. We would say worse. Good and well become better. And far becomes farther or further, which mean the same thing. We have some ways to make comparisons even stronger. The first way we can say is a lot. The new computer is a lot faster. It's not just a little bit faster, it's a lot faster. We can also use even. These blueberries are even more delicious. Much. The new quiz is much easier. For all three of these, a lot, even, and much, we can use them with ER or with more or less. So we can use them in any scenario. We can also make comparisons weaker by using a bit. This horse is a bit bigger than that one. A little. My grade is a little higher than yours. A little bit. Texas is a little bit bigger than California. Again, we can use all three of these with ER or more or less. Now let's talk about superlatives. Superlatives are when we measure a few different things and one of them is the most of something. So generally we use EST, most, or least with adjectives and adverbs. For example, everyone did a good job, but Sarah worked the hardest. The simplest explanation is usually right. What is the most delicious thing on the menu? I bought the white shirt because it was the least expensive. Remember, when we are talking about a superlative, we always use the, because it is the only thing that is the biggest, the hardest, the simplest, so we use the. To review the rules, just like comparatives, we would use the ending EST for syllables, for adjectives and adverbs that have one or two syllables. The train is the fastest form of transportation. Fast is one syllable, so we simply add EST to make it the fastest. Ahmed gets up the earliest so he can make tea in the morning. So of all the people in the house, Ahmed is the one that gets up the earliest. Early is 2 syllables, so we simply add est. We can also use most or least for adjectives and adverbs with more than 2 syllables. He speaks the least fluently of everyone in the class. Of all forms of transportation, the shuttle leaves the most frequently from the airport. Now again, there are some exceptions. Bad becomes the worst. Badly also becomes the worst. Same thing with good or well, this becomes the best. Far can become farthest or furthest. They mean the same thing. Now, completing some superlative sentences. Often the group of people or things is very obvious, so we don't want to mention them. We can make our sentences shorter and everything simpler by not mentioning them. For example, Julie is the shortest student. Now, we could add Julie is the shortest student in our class, but we don't really need to because if we're talking about our class, we don't need to add that in there. Great job, guys! I hope that this helped you learn some comparatives and superlatives.